Imagine spending your entire childhood visiting your twin sister in her cage, bringing her gifts, talking to her through the bars, being her one connection to the outside world. And then one day a completely different girl shows up and goes, "Surprise, I'm your actual sister. Also, I'm going to murder everyone you've ever met." That is the energy chapter 1 of Demons of the Shadow Realm brings. Also known as Yomi no Tsugai, the manga is written by Hiromu Arakawa, the woman who made people cry over a guy with no arms and no legs, deciding she needed a new project to emotionally destroy people again. Hi, I'm Sudo Voodoo, and welcome to my channel. This series will explore the full story of Demons of the Shadow Realm. Needless to say, there are major spoilers ahead, so if you haven't caught up with the anime or the manga yet, it's time to stop. And if you don't mind, let's dive in. We open with a woman in labor giving birth to twins, which is already a rough Tuesday by anyone's standards. However, hovering over her is an older woman named Yamaha. Yes, like the piano company. And no, I don't think that's a coincidence. Arakawa is absolutely the type. In any case, Yamaha tells the struggling mother to hold on just a little longer because the day is about to dawn. Because apparently, the exact minute you are born matters enormously in this world. And these two kids are cutting it incredibly close to sunrise. One twin is born in the dead of night, the other arrives right as daylight breaks. Yamaha watches this with expression of someone who just watched a prophecy run on schedule like a very cursed tree, and declares that these children will be the rulers of Tsugai, the supernatural beings at the heart of this entire story. Meanwhile, the father's face says everything, his mouth doesn't. He looks at these newborn twins and he is not happy. Not like twins are a lot of work unhappy, but more like we just accidentally triggered something ancient and terrible unhappy. Great start, everyone. 16 years later, we meet our boy Yuru. He's a teenager living in the most aggressively traditional mountain village you have ever seen. Think ancient Japan aesthetics, farming, hunting, close-knit community, the whole shebang. He's coming back from a solo hunting trip carrying a bunch of pheasants, clearly very pleased with himself. Waiting for him is his childhood friend Danji, who is the textbook definition of the loudmouth friend who is always worried. He immediately goes off on Yuru for going out alone, like what if something happened? And Yuru responds with the energy of someone who has heard this speech 400 times and is no longer listening. His response? Don't worry, Sayu-sama is watching over me, as in one of the village's sacred deity statues. Yuru is so calm and competent that his emergency plan is essentially vibes and divine protection. Relatable, right? Now here's a detail that's small, but kinda perfect for what's to come. On the way back, Yuru looks up and sees airplane contrails cutting through the sky, and he calls them dragonflies. Not in a panicked what is that modern thing kind of way, casually, like he said it 100 times. This village isn't fully sealed off from the outside world. They can see it, they have just decided to interpret everything through a folkloric lens. And that means planes are dragons. Their exhaust is apparently flatulence. This village has chosen the old ways and they are committed. Yuru heads to check in with his grandma Yamaha, same woman from the birth scene, still very much in charge of everything. Yamaha tells him her sister Asa has already done her daily duties and he should go visit her. And here's where the vibe shifts completely. Asa is not having a normal teenage experience. In fact, she lives in a cage, a cell at the literal heart of the village. She's been there her whole life, performing some kind of sacred ritual duty. Because twins who split day and night are considered dangerous and tied to something supernatural and very bad. So the village's solution was essentially put one of them in the box. Most of the villagers have never seen her. Danji, Yuru's best friend, has no idea what she looks like. Only Yuru and a handful of trusted elders are allowed anywhere near her. And yet Yuru goes every day. He talks to her, he brings her things. She is without question the most important person in his world. We also meet Dera, a traveling merchant who comes up from the lowlands to sell goods to the village. Dera is a cheerful round guy and he makes an interesting observation. When he offers Yuru something for himself, the kid doesn't want anything. But the second Dera mentions a small souvenir, Yuru immediately asks for something for Asa. This boy has been so busy being a hunter, provider, and a devoted brother that he has simply forgotten to want things for himself. Is Arakawa writing a protagonist who is deeply selfless and will therefore suffer tremendously? Completely unprecedented, right? Never seen her do this before. And then the chapter decides it's done being cozy. Out of nowhere, the village is hit by a full military assault. Helicopters, which the villagers immediately called dragons, descend on this quiet mountain town with armed commandos rappelling down and absolutely ruining everyone's afternoon. But here's the twist on top of the twist. These aren't just soldiers with guns, they're also wielding Tsugai supernatural paired demon creatures that certain humans can control. So you have got this collision of modern military hardware and ancient supernatural monsters, all descending on a village that was just farming and hunting pheasants an hour ago. The massacre is brutal and fast. The protective barrier hiding the village, tied to the sacred divine statues of left and right, gets blown through like it was nothing. Yuru, to absolutely no one's surprise, has exactly one thought: get to Asa. He tears through the chaos and probably already making a plan to grab her and run, to protect her the way he always has, to be the person she needs him to be. And finally, he reaches the cage. And this is where Arakawa, with the precision of a surgeon and the cruelty of someone who has done this before, pulls the rug right from under us. There is a girl on the ground, dead. The girl Yuru has visited every single day of his life, the girl he brought gifts for, talked to, structured his entire existence around protecting. Standing over her is a young woman Yuru has absolutely never seen, armed, ice cold, looking at him like she's been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Asa!
Yes? Your Asa is right here. I've come to save you. And after that, I'm gonna kill everybody else.
Yes, you heard that right. Talk about a twist. The girl in the cage, the one Yuru loved, the one he called his sister, the one Dera brought souvenirs for, was not his twin. She was something else entirely. A substitute, a ritual stand-in, placed there to fill the cage while the actual Asa lived somewhere else, growing up in God knows what circumstances, becoming this. And what is this exactly? Someone who just showed up with an army, killed the fake version of herself, and is now announcing her intention to wipe out the rest of the village. So to recap, Yuru's real twin sister has returned home after 16 years away, and her homecoming gift is violence. The childhood he thought he had was built on a lie. The sister he thought he knew was never real, and the actual Asa is standing in front of him, radiating justified grievances and murder intentions. Whatever happened to her out there in the world, it was not good, and the village is about to pay for it. Frankly, things escalate at an unreasonable pace. A shadow entity bursts out of the dead girl's body, some kind of spirit that was bound to her, and goes after the real Asa. Dera, our friendly neighborhood merchant, immediately reveals that his merchant persona was apparently just a cover, because he pulls out weapons and goes into full combat mode without hesitation. On Yamaha's orders, he grabs Yuru and hauls him towards the lower lands, because getting their boy out is now the mission. Yamaha, who has clearly been orchestrating things behind the scenes this entire time, goes down in the fighting. Probably, maybe, Arakawa doesn't kill characters cleanly on the first try. She just leaves you worried. And then, the divine statues of left and right, the sacred landmarks that have been sitting quietly at the edge of the village this whole time, wake up. They move. They start swatting helicopters out of the sky like they're mildly annoyed. Among the attacking forces, a girl named Gabby watches this happen and concludes out loud that someone's Tsugai must have just awakened. That someone is Yuru, because in the worst moment of his life, home burning, grandmother down, the sister he knew dead, the real one trying to kill everyone, being dragged away from everything he's ever known, something inside him breaks open. He doesn't manifest one Tsugai, he manifests two, left and right. Both of them at once, because this boy was born to sunder day and night, and apparently that means going full dual wielding on the supernatural power front. One of the Tsugai looks at this shell-shocked teenage boy and essentially goes,
What is this? Our new master is but a child. Should be easy to control. Left.
Young, old, it matters not. We obey our master regardless, right?
which is honestly a very fun way to meet your ancient bound demon servants for the first time. And that's chapter 1. In the space of a single chapter, Arakawa gives you a prophecy birth, a wholesome village life, a fake sister subplot that's been running for 16 years, a military supernatural assault, a gut-wrenching identity reveal, a grandmother who may or may not be dying, a merchant who was secretly a bodyguard this whole time, and the protagonist awakens to the world-altering power while having simultaneously the worst day of his life. If you want to see how Yuru handles stepping off this mountain and into a world he knows nothing about, and how the real Asa factors into all of this, chapter 2 is where it gets even messier. So hit the subscribe button, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.